Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the GSMC Golf Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host today, Garrison McDaniel, and we have a great show for you guys. We will be previewing the Charles Schwab Challenge that got underway today. That is our golf tournament on the PGA Tour for the weekend. We have a great field, but it's shaping up a little bit differently than everybody expected with this one. Our next one, we'll be talking about the leaderboard from today. Of course, Thursdays when golf tournaments start. It's the 4-day event. Everybody knows this, and we're going to be talking about the first of the 4 days here. Our third segment of the night, we will be talking about Valhalla, the golf course that we just came from at the PGA Championship. A lot of people are kind of upset about how that major shaped out and are calling for Valhalla to maybe not get a major ever again. So we'll talk about that. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And then our fourth segment of the night, we will be talking about Patrick Reed, former Masters champion in 2018, failing to qualify for the U.S. Open. We're going to be talking about that, how that comes about, and what that means for the live golf conversation, because I think that is what the more important conversation is under that. And then our final segment of the night, I will be giving you guys my picks, predictions, and looking at some of the betting odds for the PGA Championship, for the Charles Schwab Challenge as we get into the final 3 days of that. But before we start, guys, I would love to remind you to like and follow the show. Subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. It means a lot to us. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your questions get read live on air, make sure you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net so I'm able to see it. It puts your questions at the top of the list, and it also really helps the show and all the creators that do all the different shows around here. But with that being said, we're going to get right into our first topic of the night, where we'll be previewing the Charles Schwab Challenge. All right, the Charles Schwab Challenge has, through day one, really led to a very low-scoring golf course and low-scoring field. This is very polarizing to the major that we just had. Of course, we'll be talking about that in the third segment, as I said. But yeah, very low-scoring field. Why does this happen? Well, on this course, you have a lot of water, a lot of traps. I believe you have traps on fairway bunker on 1, greenside bunkers all over 2. Hole 3 is a dog leg left with fairway bunkers right in that angle, right where you're really driving the ball at. Hole 4 is the only real straightaway here. Hole 5 has a lot of difficulty around it. It's a very narrow hole as well. Hole 6, it has obstructions all around it, as well as fairway bunkers and greenside bunkers. Hole 7, it has fairway bunkers, greenside bunkers. It's a long par 5, I believe. Hole 7 is. Hole 8 is your first look at water on this course, and then it doesn't really stop. From this point, you have water all throughout the left side of this dogleg left. You have greenside bunkers all over it. That is a very difficult hole. Hole 9, water all over it. Fairway bunkers. Very long one there too. Hole 10, you have water. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes in a row with water that we're in the middle of at hole 10. Hole 11 has water on the right with bunkers all over the left side. If you miss the fairway, you are screwed on that one. Hole 12 is a dogleg, not a dogleg left. It's a little bit straight away, but with water on the back side of the green, so you can't miss long. Hole 13 is a par 3 tee shot, water, green. So you miss at any point with your tee shot, you're in the water. And it has greenside bunkers all around the green as well. Hole 14 is a dogleg left. Hole 15 is a lot of trees, I believe, on the right side. That makes this tee shot very difficult because it goes left and then curls back right. So from the tee shot, it's a straightaway to the green, but the fairway has an angle because it has trees all down the right side when you're going straight for the green. So that's a very difficult hole. Hole 16 is surrounded by water. It has a river right through the middle of it, and then it has a lake before the green. Hole 17 is a river to the right, and hole 18 finishes off that river and has a lake on the backside of that green. A lot of water, a lot of obstruction, a lot of bunkers on this course, to mix with all of that very, very narrow fairways. So this is why we're seeing the low scores, and it is very interesting coming from the PGA Championship at Valhalla, where we set a record for lowest scoring at a major ever. So it's a very difficult course. Last year it went to a playoff with Emilio Grillo and Adam Schenk. Both of those players are doing pretty bad throughout day one. I believe Emilio Grillo is at 5 over, and Adam Schenk had to withdraw from this one. Scheffler last year came in third. Sam Burns was the winner the year before, with Scotty Scheffler losing in a playoff to him. So Scotty Scheffler came third last year, second 2 years ago. So we're definitely looking out for him. He was plus 260 going into this one. Finished the day, we'll give you a little spoiler for our next segment here. He finished the day 2 over, I believe, shooting a 72. This was one of his worst rounds of golf all year. He might have the litigation issues from Valhalla still playing in his mind. Well, of course, we'll talk more about that when we get to that third segment. But yeah, today proved that it's a very difficult course. 5 under is your lead today. Another very difficult thing about this course is it's a par 70. So on average, courses play 71 or 72 usually, and then you have this one that is a par 70. So that is a very difficult. I don't know. That's a very mental thing. Having that one less shot each round is hard for these golfers to kind of look at. And then another thing that this course changed from last year is new grass on every inch of the yard. Every square inch of this course has new grass on it, from the greens all the way to the roughs, all the way to the tee boxes. New grass absolutely everywhere. So it's gonna be interesting throughout the weekend to see how this grass plays and see what that change has done to the course. I have a visual of all of these holes and how they're playing. It's a little bit hard to see, but bear with me here. You have on hole 1 is your by far and away the easiest hole, and then it's just difficult from there. All these red numbers mean these holes are playing over par. The field finished today over par, and you can really see why. Hole 1, if you don't get a there was 5 eagles on this hole last year's Sunday, and there was a good amount of eagles on hole 1 today. It was really the only it was really the only hole playing that hard or playing that easy. Every other one was very difficult for these guys. They were just really surviving par the entire day. Looking at somebody, just a random person's scorecard, we're going to look at Tony Finau, who finished the day 2 under. On hole 1, he parred it, but going throughout the rest of the day, he was 4 under. A lot of pars on this card is really how he managed to do so, and then he played very well on the par 3s. He had 2 birdies out of the 4 par 3s. Going 50% on those is very important, and he played very well on all the par 4s. Birdie or better on almost all of them besides one. One of them was a bogey. Finished the day after he started on the back 9. After 14, he finished the day 4 under. So he played very well today, and let's look at kind of how that looks. Started on the back 9, so starting out 10 here with a hole that plays over par. 11 plays barely under par. That's the third easiest hole. Then you're going into the third hardest hole right after that, and then one more easy hole. That's the second easiest one on 13. That's a par 3 that plays 160 yards about, and then every other hole from here on out plays over par, and that is a very, very difficult end to a round. So these guys that played These guys that played from the back 9 kind of had a little bit of advantage to me, in my opinion, today, because they got these difficult holes out of the way early. got the stretch, and then you go into the front nine. You have 10, or you have one. Then when you come around the turn, when you're feeling pretty good, and when you're shooting a lot better. It didn't play out that way for Tony Finau today, but a lot of the guys that started on the back nine played very well today. Brian Harmon was one of them. Started on the back nine. S.H. Kim started on the back nine. He did eagle one. He was one of the guys that did eagle one. That, of course, a par or a birdie or better on one really starts these guys off in the right foot. Charlie Hoffman was the one that finished top of the leaderboard today. He birdied hole one, and he started on the front nine. So it's very difficult going through that stretch because you have 8, 9, 11, 7, and 13 hardest holes on the golf course in a row. As you see, all of those are playing way over par. Even if you want to go starting at 12 there, the third hardest, and then you have the only easy hole going in this stretch. It's very hard. It's very challenging for these guys. So that's why you're seeing these numbers as low as you do after today. And of course, as I said, it's a par 70 instead of a par 72. So you're already taking away two shots from these guys. Normally, the one most notable thing is there's only 2 par 5s. Par 5s is the holes that a lot of guys make up strokes on. The par 5s, 11 and 1 are the 2 par 5s on this one. On tour average, par 5s are the easiest holes because guys drive the ball very long, and then they're so accurate with these wood shots from the fairway nowadays. So a lot of these par 5s play a lot easier than you're normally used to. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at with the Charlie Schwab. The reason I had Scotty Scheffler number 1 going into this one, of course, world number 1, best golfer in the world right now. But on this course, he is the best at this course. His adjusted fit to the course, which means how his numbers stack up with how you need to be playing on a course, if that makes sense. This course really favors approach shots. He's the best approach. He's the best with irons and wedges on the tour. So his adjust fit, it leads the field at a 1.78. So he has the advantage in this one. Unfortunately, he could not really show or provide a good day, even though he is the favorite in this one by far. So that'll wrap it up for our first segment. When I come back from my first break of the night, we'll be talking about Thursday's leaderboard and what that means, or how I see this tournament shaping out from how the leaderboard looks right now.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Sorry. All right, guys, we are back with our second segment of the night. But before I start talking about Thursday's leaderboard, I would love to remind you guys, if you have any questions that you would love to see me read out live on air, use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net, as you see on the screen right now, for any questions, comments, or if you just want to support the guys here at GSMC Podcasting Network. But with that being said, we're going to get right into our second segment where we're talking about Thursday's leaderboard. And instead of talking about the top of the leaderboard as I normally would do, I'm going to start from kind of the middle here, where I'm talking about Scotty Scheffler. Of course, you got to talk about the world number one golfer. This is tied for his worst round of golf all year. A 72, a 2-over round. He doesn't have rounds over par. He's always in contention. So what went wrong here? This is kind of his home course. So it's really shocking to see him doing badly here. Maybe a little bit of what happened in Valhalla is still on his mind. Of course, we'll talk about that in the third segment. But I could imagine so. He started today on the front nine. As I said, it was a little bit easier for the guys that started on the back nine today. But when it came to the front nine, he got out to a 2-under start, birdied 1, which is great. You're going to need a birdie 1 this week. It's kind of like 7 at Valhalla last week. Getting that birdie on the short par 5 is very important. He birdied 4, which is a par 3. That's the straightaway par 3. It's about 240 yards. It's actually a very hard hole. He went 240 right to the pin from 4 yards out, really. Or sorry, from 10 feet out when he got to the green, and then sank the putt. And then it kind of went all downhill from there. 7 is a par 4, plays about 470, very long par 4. His drive was 330 yards, went right to the left rough, which isn't a problem for Scotty Scheffler usually. He is the best player on tour playing out of the left rough. However, his wedge got just kind of stuck in the rough here. It was only a 125-yard second shot, and when it needs to really be about 130, 140 to get to that pin. And then he also, he ends up chipping it on for his third and then 2-putting to end up with a bogey. So just a bad hole for him that we really don't see. When it got to the green, he got to within I would say 10 feet out, and then 2 putts that. So that you see a lot from Scotty Scheffler. That's his one area of the game that he has to improve on. But the approach shot going into the rough usually isn't a problem for him, and it was here. He had to he had to chip onto the green from off of it, which we don't really see from him too often. And then 9, that's another bogey. He finished the front 9 at par, which is not something we see a lot. This is how it happened here on 9, how he got a bogey. His tee shot was 287. He took a 3-wood off the tee here, which is a good idea. This is hole 9 is a dogleg right. You have a fairway bunker on the left that is 287. So he was really challenging that fairway bunker. His tee shot went left, went into the fairway bunker, and it's hard to play from there. From that point, on the green, there's water right on the green, and then there's bunkers on the back of it. So if you miss the green, you're in trouble. He missed the green here. But that wasn't the trouble. He missed the green into the fairway and from the green. There's 5 yards of fairway that he hits. Everywhere else is a problem, and he hit the 5 yards of fairway. And then chips it within about 7 feet, and then 2 putts again. Those are really what haunted him today. Goes par on 10, 11, 12, and then 13 was a difficult one for him. 13 is the 160-yard par 3 that we were talking about. That is just tee box, lake, green, right? Well, he put it into the lake on his tee. That's not something we see from Scotty Scheffler a lot. He does not miss. He does not miss greens. 2, he does not miss greens on par 3s with his irons. That's not something we see a lot from this guy. So it was unfortunate for him. And then he has to take the hazard shot for 2, ends up in the bunker from that, and then chips onto the green, 2 putts for a triple bogey. This is only this. Sorry, what was the stat I just saw? It's been 2 years since he had a triple or worse on the tour. He went over 800 holes, or 800 holes, I think that's what it was. 800 holes straight without having a triple or worse, which is so impressive. So he ended up tripling 13, and then with a birdie on 17, that's how he finished his day. It finishes day 2 over for a 72 on the par 70 course. So that is very disappointing for Scottie Scheffler. He's not out of this. He's only 7 back of the lead. We've seen him close those gaps before. We could definitely see it again in this one. But yeah, I'd be shocked if he doesn't put his name in contention. But today was a very unlike Scottie day. Another name that I want to talk about, Collin Morikawa, finished 2 under. He was probably the second favorite going into this one. He just played a very solid round of golf, 3 birdies, 1 bogey. Played very, very well. He does par hole 1. A lot of these guys did not capitalize on the hole like they kind of needed to. Brian Harman, that is one of your not leaders, but one of the guys at the top of the leaderboard. He finished tied 2 at 4 under, shot a 66, played a very great round of golf. 4 birdies on the front 9 that he played, and then just goes par for the rest of the one. A bogey-free card is always something that these guys love to have, love to see. And then the last kind of notable guy that I want to talk about is Max Homa. 78 today. He shot 8 over. He's probably done. He's probably not making the cut here. What went wrong? Well, he didn't shoot he doesn't have a birdie on this card. He starts on the back 9, so goes bogey on 12, bogey on 16, bogey on 17, double on 3, bogey on 5, bogey on 7, bogey on 8. It's a very bad scorecard. He was not good around the greens at all. 12, he has 3 shots from around the green. 16 has 3 shots around the green. 17 has 3 shots around the green. 3 has 1, 2, 3. He has 5 shots around the green on 3. So that's really what did him in, is around the green was very bad. He was not good at scrambling today. So that's how he ends his round. But right now, our leaderboard stands at what we are looking at. Charlie Hoffman, 5 under, shot a 65, had a very great round of golf. 5 birdies, no bogeys on this card, played amazing. Does birdie 1 as well. That's kind of the one that I'm looking at on each of these cards to see how they kind of started today. And then Davis Riley, kind of coming out of nowhere. Haven't really seen his name this year at all. So him going 4 under. Could we see an underdog like that win this week? I feel like if there's a week, we're going to see it this one, because this leaderboard doesn't have a lot of big names in it. I believe the only ones are S.H. Kim at 4 under, Brian Harman at 4 under, Tony Finau, of course, has been very great on this golf course historically. I believe he has a 2nd place and a T4 on this course in the last few years, so he likes this one. He's proven to be one of the contenders in this weekend. Keegan Bradley played very well. JT Poston, Seb Straka, Collin Morikawa, these guys all ended up 2 under. And then the 1 under kind of guys that I'm looking at, Thomas Dietrich, Alejandro Tosti, or Totti, that's how you pronounce it, Alejandro Totti, finished 1 under. Doug Gim finishes 1 under. Lucas Glover finishes 1 under. These guys have all played very well on this golf course in the past. And then Daniel Berger, who has been very great on this golf course in the past, also finished 1 under. Anybody really, I would say from Scottie Scheffler up at 2 over, can have or has an opportunity on this course. The cut line right now is probably going to be around 2 over, because these guys are going more and more into the green as this tournament progresses. So yeah, it was great play from the guys up top, but this course is proving to be very difficult, very different than what we saw at Valhalla today. The guys that really played well all finished around 4 under today, so it's consistent with how we've seen it play in the past. Last year it was 11 under that won it. The year before that, I believe, was 12 under that won it. And then, it's been consistently around that mark for the last few years. So very different than what we've seen in the past. It's great to see these guys play so well and get these kind of results, because how Valhalla played, it was Bryson DeChambeau after Valhalla, or after the PGA Championship, said he played a B round of golf and got he was 20 under at a major. So people were shocked at how easy that course played. So to counter that outrage, I guess, from the fans from that major, we're making up for it at the Charles Schwab Challenge. So a lot of people should be happy with what we're seeing here. But with that being said, the Thursday leaderboard, once again, Charlie Hoffman is your day one leader, 18-hole leader. Notable names that follow behind: S.H. Kim, 4 under, Brian Harmon, 4 under, and Tony Finau are all at 4 under to make up the rest of the top 5 here. So with that being said, I'm going to take my second break of the night, and when I get back, we will be talking about Valhalla and should it host majors in the future.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, welcome back, guys, to the GSMC Golf Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We're going to be talking about Valhalla, the site of the PGA Championship, on 4 separate occasions, and should it be hosting majors going forward. There's a lot of people that are saying no, and I really understand what they're saying, and maybe I might agree with them. I could definitely be convinced to agree with them. I enjoyed how the course played. I enjoyed watching the PGA Championship, but it didn't feel like a major, and I think that's where a lot of people are getting angry, and that's the sentiment that I agree with. I think that it could have been a lot better. 21 under is an insane score for a major to end at. We're used to seeing the PGA Championship end around like 9 under. I believe last year that was around the score that won it. So having it end at 21 under for Xander Schauffele, 20 under being second, and 18 under being third. A lot of these guys were shocked. Like I said in the last segment, Bryson DeChambeau said that he played his B game of golf and still finished 20 under. So, I mean, that was insane. And this stat is brought to you by Justin Ray on Twitter. He is a golf media member for The Athletic. He is very close to this sport. And this is kind of the tweet that set a lot of people off. It got so many impressions. 3.4 million people viewed this tweet. 10,000 people liked it. Lowest combined score to par by field in PGA Championship history. 2018 Bellerive was 59 over. 1995 Riviera was 40 over. 2024 Valhalla, this was the lowest scoring to par by field in PGA Championship history. 59 over, 40 over, and then number 1, 2024 Valhalla, 214 under. That blows everything else completely out of the water. That is 254 total strokes by the field ahead of second place, and this is in PGA Championship history. You can talk to me about how great the golfers are today, and I understand that. That's why these scores are lower nowadays. But by 254 strokes is insane. That is why people are calling for Valhalla to not host a major ever again, possibly. And I might definitely agree with that. That doesn't play like a major at all. We're used to seeing these majors finish around 10. This one doubled that, and everybody was in the mix kind of at that scoreline. 214 under by the field is absolutely insane. We haven't seen anything like that ever before, as I said. So that's kind of what set people off. Another thing, most greens in regulation by PGA Championship winner in the last 30 years. In 2024, Xander Schauffele set the record at 60 at Valhalla. 60 out of 72 holes he made. He had a green in regulation. He actually tied that record. The previous record holder was, who could have guessed it? Tiger Woods was the previous record holder in PGA Championship history, also with 60 in 2000. You know the site of the 2000 PGA Championship? Valhalla. This course is just easier. And a lot of people there are some people that are defending Valhalla, saying that maybe it's because of the weather, because of all the rain that led up to this tournament, and then it was very good weather beyond that. Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, it was all pretty clear out. So that does bring a factor to it. It makes the fairways a lot easier and the roughs easier to play out of. However, a 254 stroke difference, that's insane. This isn't a site for a major. I love it. I love how it played. I do think that it should be in the PGA Tour as a regular tour event. I definitely do not believe that this should be a major event site, though. Xander Schauffele set another record in PGA Championship history. He made 25 plus birdies in a major for the second time in his career. He did it in the 2019 Masters and now doing it in the 2024 PGA Championship. That set a record. Xander Schauffele, 21 under, best score to par in major championship history. He also had a 62. This was the only major that we've ever seen two different people shooting a 62. There's just so many of these records that were set, and maybe we start looking at the course instead of how great these guys played. These guys played amazing. I'm not taking anything away, especially Xander Schauffele. He deserved this one. He's been playing amazing golf. This was his PGA Championship. You can't take that away from it. Not saying there's an asterisk on that whatsoever. I am saying that this golf course probably should be taken out because maybe these guys just have figured it out completely. And it wasn't even, it was just that the approach shots were very easy. A lot of people were driving it very well. A lot of approach shots to the green were very easy. The scramble rate this week was a 55.8%, meaning up and down, basically, going from off the green to in the hole in two. That happened 55.8% of the time. People were off the green on their birdie shot, basically. The tour average this season is 60.5, so around the green played very difficult, on less than or a 5% difference from tour average. It's not around the greens. It really was these tee shots very easy, and then these approach shots were very easy. Valhalla has been the site of the 96, 2000, 2014, and now 2024 PGA Championship. Tiger Woods has won it here. Rory McIlroy has won it here. Mark Brooks won it here. Those were your three previous winners. All of those are great golfers. All of those deserve their wins, and now Xander Schauffele deserves their win. So the golf course played easy, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't entertaining. And that's kind of where I still believe that it wasn't. I think that it was an amazing event. I think the weekend shaped out pretty great. I enjoyed watching it thoroughly throughout it, but having these scores be so low was pretty horrible. He was, I mean, there was a 500-yard par 4 that Bryson DeChambeau was hitting short irons going into his regulation shot, making it very easy for him to be able to navigate this one. That's why he ended 20 under, being one back. But yeah, it's just this is the sentiment. It's not a site for a major, really. And I have a special place in my heart for this golf course because it's a Jack Nicklaus built course. Of course, me being from Columbus, Ohio, I gotta support Jack Nicklaus, as he is, of course, from Ohio State. His home course is the Memorial Course that we're gonna be seeing in a couple weeks. I'm excited for that event, but I love this course as people are saying, as a course for a tour event, not a major. 250, that is insane. That record may never be broken, and I'd be shocked if it does. Minus 214 is how the field shot this past weekend, and the normal, what's average is around, I would say 80 over or 90 over par is probably around average. So that is a crazy stat. That's why it got, I said it, this stat got 3.4 million views on Twitter. Justin Ray is not the most famous guy. He's usually around 40,000 views on Twitter for anything he tweets out. A very famous guy in the golf media world, but there's a lot of outrage based on that tweet for Valhalla, and you can really see why. But with that being said, we're going to go into our third break, and when I come back, we will be talking about Patrick Reed's major streak coming to an end. The current LIV golfer is unable to play in the U.S. Open, and I will be talking about how that came to be in our fourth segment of the night.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, we are back with our fourth segment of the night. We're really flying through this one tonight. I've been enjoying the topics that we've talked about, so it feels like this one has really flown by. But now we're talking about Patrick Reed, the current LIV golfer and former 2018 Masters champion. He is no longer able to play at the U.S. Open this year. How did this happen? Under the rules, after the LIV Golf Tour, became a thing, no more official world golf rankings were given, no official world golf ranking points were given out to those that joined LIV Golf. What that means is, in these events that are the automatic qualifications for the U.S. Open is top 60 in the world in the official world golf rankings. That is difficult for the LIV golfers to get, because the only time that they're able to get world golf ranking points is during the majors, the Masters, the PGA Championship, the U.S. Open, and the Open Championship. For Patrick Reed, he did not do well at the Masters, which means he had to get third or better at the PGA Championship if he wanted a chance at the U.S. Open. That's very difficult for this guy to get, and of course he doesn't do so, which means his streak of majors came to an end. He played in every single major since the 2014 Masters, meaning over a decade of consecutive major championship is coming to an end for this guy. A very polarizing figure, but this really does open up a big conversation about, is this kind of fair? Phil Mickelson and Bryson DeChambeau has been the guys kind of leading the charge when it comes to the LIV Golf side, saying, hey, we we can't do anything to get our points up, which means we're not going to be able to play in the majors, which are the only events that we're allowed to play in. We're not allowed to play in any PGA sanctioned events, so something's got to give here. And the official World Golf Ranking said, well, you shouldn't have joined the Live Golf Tour, basically. So it's disappointing from that side. As I get a notification about the Live Golf getting positive news on the World Golf Ranking front, the thing that I'm talking about right now, I just got a notification for. I'm sorry, I gotta look at this. That will definitely be something I talk about tomorrow in my shorts, as there is new news coming from the official World Golf Rankings when it does come to Live golfers. I did not read the entire article as it is a new one, and I do want to get the most accurate information for you guys, but that's interesting. That's something I'll keep an eye out for, see if that changes. The conversation that we are having right now is what I just got a notification for. But anyways, as I was saying, it's difficult for these guys from the Live Golf to be able to make it into these majors that are sanctioned by, the official World Golf Rankings having that top 60 automatic qualifications. This led to many of the Live golfers having to play in open qualifiers to make it into this major. Patrick Reed having to play in the Dallas qualifiers this week. He withdrew before he finished that one, meaning we won't see him at the U.S. Open. Another big name that was there that was unable to qualify, Sergio Garcia, another former Masters champion. I believe he won the 2015 Masters, if I'm not mistaken. He is also unable to compete in the U.S. Open because he did not qualify. If you are the rules of the U.S. Open qualification is if you played in one event to try to qualify, you are unable to play in another one. So those guys are officially done for the U.S. Open in June. It's very disappointing for these guys who, are used to playing in the highest golfing events in the world. Of course, Patrick Reed is a person that a lot of people around the world of golf do not like, so a lot of people are expressing their happiness towards this, but it is very disappointing for him, for Patrick Reed, who has played in 42 straight major championships. Of course, that doesn't it's a streak, but it's not the most impressive streak. You have Jack Nicklaus with over 150. That's probably the number, or I think it was 144. It was almost 150 straight majors that he competed in. That's an insane record. Gary Player played in around 130. Some other names. I know Fred Couples played in a lot. Tom Kite played in a lot in a row, and Phil Mickelson has made 117 appearances in majors. But yeah, there are a lot of famous Live golfers that won't be at number 2 Pinehurst in June. That list is, of course, Patrick Reed, Sergio Garcia, who failed to qualify in the Dallas one. You also have Taylor Gooch, who failed to qualify for the U.S. Open. Louis Oosthuizen, not able to qualify. And Bubba Watson, the former 2-time Masters champion in 2012 and 2014, did not qualify and is unable to compete in the U.S. Open. There's also names like Ian Poulter, Paul Casey, Thomas Peters, all unable to qualify for the U.S. Open. So there's a lot of names. There's also Carlos Ortiz, Caleb Surratt, Kevin Na, Danny Lee, Abraham Anser, and Brendan Steele. All of those Live golfers. All of those are Live golfers who failed to qualify. There was only 11 spots up for grabs for the qualification, for open qualifications, and that means it was very hard for these guys to do so. We are going to see Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson are all going to be competing at the U.S. Open because of their wins previously. They get sanctioned. Of course, Brooks Koepka won it twice. Bryson DeChambeau won it. Phil Mickelson, Cameron Smith, John Rahm, Dustin Johnson, and Martin Kamer all won at the U.S. Open before, so they will be competing. But yeah, there's a lot of names that won't be there in June, and it's kind of a shock for the golf world to not see a guy like Patrick Reed, who, of course, as I said, 42 straight majors. He's been a mainstay throughout most of my life in majors. Of course, seeing him for half of my life playing majors is insane. And there's a lot of other guys that that aren't going to be playing in it, like Bubba Watson, who as of late not been competing too much, but always there in majors, unable to qualify for this one. And probably the most surprising one, Luis Oosthuizen, who won the U.S. or not won the U.S. Open, but won a major a few years back, went to Live Golf and is unable to qualify. So we always knew that there was going to be a trade-off when these guys went to Live Golf. Of course, the number one thing that we knew that was going to happen was them not playing in PGA sanctioned events. But this is the next kind of thing on the list. Not seeing these guys in majors is a huge shock. A lot of people are talking about the merger now, and I think this is the time that we really should have this conversation. With the merger, I feel like it's kind of inevitable at this point. So the guys on the PGA side who didn't take the pay jump for going to Live, I feel like you can't be too upset anymore. Of course, last year that was the big conversation. Now, for the guys that didn't take the pay jump, it is understandable to be really, really upset. However, I don't think that you can still be very upset, due to this is inevitable. The merger is going to happen. So a lot of seeing what Bryson DeChambeau did at the PGA Championship, it made a lot of people like him again. And understandably so. He's such a fun figure in golf. It's so much fun to watch him play. Brooks Koepka is one of my favorite players in golf, one of the best guys in golf. He's unable to play. We're not seeing Phil Mickelson on the tour like we're used to seeing. That's a huge name in golf. Not seeing him every week is kind of upsetting. So this merger is going to happen. It's inevitable, basically, for this merger to happen. It's just, a matter of when. For me, I would love to see it sooner than later, though. I do want to see these guys competing, not just in majors, but also, just competing every week. Like the Charles Schwab Challenge, imagine how much more fun this tournament could have been if we do have Bryson DeChambeau. Maybe Brooks Koepka might withdraw from this one, but you have Bryson DeChambeau, maybe you have Tyrell Hatton, maybe John Rahm's going to be there, Luis Oosthuizen could be there, Cameron Smith, who is a name that I always used to love watching. They are not able to play in just these events. We're not going to see any of these guys at the Memorial in a couple of weeks. We never see these guys at the Players' Championship. It's unfortunate, and it kind of feels like us viewers are getting robbed a little bit when it comes to these guys in just week-to-week golfing events. So, that's my 2 cents on it. I do want to see this merger happen eventually because these guys are all fun to watch. Golf is at the best place possible when the field is as stacked as possible, right? When we're looking at the leaderboard for the Charles Schwab, Davis Riley, Martin Laird, Charlie Hoffman, Hayden Buckley, all these guys are PGA guys, but 150 in the FedEx Cup ranking, 72 in the FedEx Cup ranking, 151 in the FedEx Cup ranking, 131 in the FedEx Cup ranking. Like, these guys are very low names in golf. They won't be they wouldn't be nearing this height if we had the stacked fields like we used to have in 2020 or 2021 with Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Jon Rahm, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele. Like, the list goes on and on and on. It's unfortunate not seeing that. So I want to see this merger happen eventually, and I feel like all these majors missing out on these guys kind of makes a lot of other people want to see it too. But yeah, that's my take on that. When I come back, we'll be talking about my picks and predictions for the Charles Schwab when I get back. All right, welcome back to our fifth and final segment of the night from the GSMC Golf Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We're going to be finishing off here by talking about my picks and best bets for the Charles Schwab Challenge, who I would like to bet on in this field. And unfortunately, I wrote down who I thought before Thursday's action. In hindsight, that wasn't the best idea because this entire leaderboard is on its head, basically. I said my number one point was to avoid outrights because the only outright that makes sense in this one is Scotty Scheffler at plus 260 going into this one. Now he is plus 1,000. He is still fourth on the outright list. That's insane. He is 7 back of the lead and plus 1,000 only. I would say avoid that right now. The ones that I'm liking right now for just bets, Tony Finau at plus 150 for a top 5. I like that a lot. He's really one of the only notable names in the, he's second right now, 4 under, only 1 back of the lead. I can definitely see him winning. Has a very good rep on this course, and you get that at plus money. I think that's a good bet. Colin Morikawa maybe to win at plus 800 might be my next best bet here. He's right now second on the list. For just outright winner, it goes Tony Finau, then Colin Morikawa. He's at plus 800 to win, 3 back of the lead. He's one of the best golfers in the world right now, been consistently competing in every tournament that we've seen him in. He's really good at difficult courses, previous major winner. That's really what you look at when you look at these difficult courses. So I would not be shocked to see him doing well here. The current day one leader, Charlie Hoffman, comes in at about 8th on the list, or 7th on the list in outright. He's plus 2,200. I say avoid that one. I don't see him consistently keeping this up. He's not one of those guys that you really would expect going wire to wire as the winner here. S.H. Kim, I think that's a really good bet. He's plus 2,500. He's had a very good year this year. S.H. Kim at right now 90th in the FedEx Cup ranking. He is in this field. It's a very it's a weaker field, especially with Scotty Scheffler playing as bad as he is. Jordan Spieth is way back. So him being at plus 500, I might actually look at S.H. Kim at plus 240, top 10. I think that's a good bet. I see him finishing this one in the top 10. A little bit down the board here, you have guys, Cam Davis. He's, I believe, 1 under. I think going into this one, he was one of the best when you went to course adjusted. He's at plus 7,000. I think he could definitely make a comeback here and be in contention. Ricky Fowler, only 5 strokes back of the lead at plus 11,000, plus 2,000 for top 5, and plus 750 for top 10. Any one of those could be a pretty good bet. Of course, adjust your bet sizing to what you're doing if you do want to follow one of those. I do like the top 10, though, for Ricky Fowler, as he is only 3 strokes back of being at that top 10 mark. So he definitely could be doing that, especially since we have 3 more days to go. Daniel Berger, another really good bet, plus 6,500 to win. He's 1 under, 4 back of the lead. This is the thing with all of these guys here. There's 60 guys within 5 strokes of each other right now. So really any of them could be a good bet. I say avoid until Jordan Spieth wins the tournament. Don't put a single cent on him. Just do it for your own sake. I've been rooting for him for a very long time. However, he just can't get it done right now. It's the wrist problem. We talked about it. About a month ago. But that's always a worry when it comes to Jordan Spieth. So I would say pump the brakes on him. Billy Horschel could definitely do well. He comes at plus 4,000 as an outright winner. I don't think any of the ones really beyond Ricky Fowler are too great of bets here. Of course, your very, very, very long shots are coming in at like plus 250,000. Maybe Emiliano Grillo can make a strong comeback after finishing 5 under on the day, but probably nothing beyond Ricky Fowler, I would say. I would be looking at putting any money on. Maybe Alejandro Totti at plus 18,000. He, I believe, has a good record on this course, and he is only at 1 under, tied for 21 right now. So plus 20,000 for that is not the worst. he did prove that he can birdie on a lot of these holes. He had 3 different birdies throughout the day, so he definitely could win this one. I wouldn't be shocked. This year he does have one top 10, so maybe putting a little bit money on a top 10 won't be too bad of an idea for Alejandro Totti. But yeah, that's really what I'm looking at, is basically Ricky Fowler is my down the board pick. I would do a top 10 for him. He's 5 strokes back of the lead, so not fully out of it, and he can definitely play good golf coming down the stretch here. But Collin Morikawa would probably be my outright right now. Scotty, I don't know if this is Vegas not adjusting to his odds, Scotty Scheffler, or this is just blind faith in the world number 1 best golfer we've seen since probably 2020, Dustin Johnson. But him having almost minus odds to be top 10 after he's 7 strokes back of the lead. If he goes out and shoots just par tomorrow, I think he barely makes the cut, right? So, he has work to do to make the cut, basically. To see him, I think it is insane for him to come in at plus 1,000 to win this thing, but that's just, Scotty Scheffler being the world number 1 and having blind faith in him. But yeah, when it does come down to this tournament, what I'm looking at a lot for it is driving accuracy. I think that is the number 1 stat when it comes to this one. That's why I thought Scotty Scheffler was going to be so good. But you do look at Tony Finau. I think I saw that he had like 2 entire strokes gained putting today, which is insane. That is absolutely incredible. I think he led the field by 1.5 like anybody else for strokes gained putting. That's something I wanted to look at. I'll do that after this. Look at how great that putting was. He must have one putted almost every hole he was on. But yeah, Tony Finau definitely can come out as the winner on this one. Of course, Sepp Straka finished the day 2 under. That's another name to look at. I didn't really mention him. He's right now 5th in outright odds. I think that is a very solid pick. But for the rest of the weekend, my straight predictions is I would say Collin Morikawa to win would be my right now current prediction. Some top 5s that I would definitely be looking at is Tony Finau, Sepp Straka, S.H. Kim, and probably Thomas Detry, who have all been playing pretty good golf as of late. All of them are very accurate drivers as well. So those would be my top 5s that I look at, and some off the board picks probably would be around like a Ricky Fowler, the one do not bet list. He will be on my do not bet list for a very long time. It is Jordan Spieth. Don't touch him until he proves. Honestly, for Jordan Spieth, I'm just looking for 4 rounds consecutive under par in a row. I haven't seen that in how long from him, so that is what I'm looking at. He always does well on the first day, and this one he did not do well on the first day, so he does have work to do to make the cut. He did finish even on the day, if I'm not mistaken. He finished 1 over on the day, finished with 71. He has 3 bogeys on this card. It's a disappointing one. He does not birdie. He 3 putts and does not birdie 5. That's very disappointing for him. So, until he proves otherwise, I don't believe in Jordan Spieth, and that's just kind of why 3 bogeys on the day is very unfortunate for him. But that'll wrap it up for this Thursday night's podcast. Tomorrow, I have a special podcast on my GSMC hockey podcast. I'll have 2 other great show hosts from the GSMC Sports Network on with me talking about the playoff games. So a little self-plug there. If you guys are available 9:30 Eastern time tomorrow, come watch that show. I'm pretty excited about that one. But for this one, for the GSMC Golf Podcast, thank you guys all for tuning in. We appreciate at GSMC Sports Network all the support we've been getting as of late. It does mean a lot to us. Please remember, if you guys enjoyed this one, subscribe, like the show, leave a comment. For me, it really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you all once again, and have a wonderful day.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work.